All right. So, thank you all for joining. It's funny, Praveen hasn't joined yet. I have to give him a hard time. And welcome to the soft launch. Soft because if you really want to get a big attendance, you probably don't do it at 9 o'clock on a Sunday night. But I like to post things on the web, and I thought I would do it today. And then if I need to, I'll do it again one night during the week at a more reasonable hour. So this is going to be the launch of the Market MRI Pro. Several of the people here are beta testers. So I want to just start with the genesis of where this came from. Why did I need to do another platform? Maybe 18 months ago, I signed up for a product called Stock Predator by a third party, doesn't matter who he is. And I recognized his platform from somebody else that sold a number of platforms on the web. And I signed up for this product and I thought, gosh, this is exactly what I want. A simple product that does all the things that I do in one product, doesn't require me to have 12 different programs open. And then the product died, which was not a good thing. So I figured out who the person who coded it for him was, and they had sort of a spat between the two of them. And I paid a lot of money to the person who coded it for him, and he basically pulled back and didn't do anything. So I lost all that money. But the concept of having something where it was all in one and would make my life easier didn't go away. And then even though I have my stuff in a number of different products, I was still missing something that I wanted, and that was the real-time nature of my signals. So Praveen, I griped to Praveen about my experiences, and he basically said, oh, he could build something. And unfortunately, Praveen suffers from something that a lot of great programs suffer from, and they let perfect be the enemy of good. So he keeps improving this, and it keeps taking longer to get it to market. So we've locked down the feature set. We're never going to stop on the features. And we co-own the product, so Praveen is incentivized to continue to build. And our intent is to continue to add features to the product. So let's kick off. I'll tell you about where we're at with it, and then how do you get it if you want it. So I did this product so that I'd have a simple approach to swing trading stocks. Again, this is the Market MRI Pro Launch Special. We're going to talk a little bit about the market, so I'll keep the disclaimer that I usually have. This is for educational purposes only. Anything I talk about should be taken in the spirit of education and not investment advice. The intended videos demonstrate the tools that I use in top-down analysis and how I apply them. Trading involves risk. You are solely responsible for any investment decisions you make. I may own or intend to buy, sell, go long, go short, any stock mentioned in this report. Trading stocks and options should be considered risky. You should always consult with your financial advisors. And I have tools on multiple platforms, but I am an independent trader. I don't work for anybody else except for my day job. Most of you are already members of my Google group. And if not, I welcome you to join. You just look for Top Down Trader without the hyphen and the Google groups. And I send out a nightly video when I'm not traveling. I'll send out market comments. If time allows, I'll send things out during the day. Every once in a while I get really excited because another dialogue starts with group members, which is kind of why I did it. I had a Discord site in the past, and I'll probably go back to Discord. But all my emails that I was sending to friends and family were bouncing, and it was like annoying, and that's why I went to Google Group. Discord requires me to be paying a lot more attention, and so we'll see whether or not it makes sense to have a Discord. But I like community. Most of you who know me, I've made my money not just in the market, and I've been doing unpaid, free things to help people in the market for, gosh, since 2003. So I enjoy teaching, I enjoy the markets, and it turns out I enjoy developing software too. Now, a lot of people have emailed me and said, well, what about Wealth Charts? I said, what about Wealth Charts? Wealth Charts is a great product. Wealth Charts has the breadth of things that I'll never have. Plus, it comes with Rob Hoffman. All right, somebody needs to be muted. And so it comes with the intelligence and energy of Rob Hoffman. No sound. Okay. Can somebody else comment? Do we have sound? Okay, so whoever wrote no sound, you might want to log off and come back on because everybody else says we have sound. And that, by the way, was a novel way of letting me know. I'm watching the chat, so you could also type in there if you don't want to type on the screen. So I am still working with Wealth Charts. I am still doing my Stocks and Docs video. It has things in it that I don't have and I will never have in my standalone product. Plus, between Stacy and Rob and Keith and Hubert and the rest of the team there, you have a really multi-talented educational platform and trading platform. And now they've gone into prop trading, which is something that I won't say I'm not interested in, but it's something that's not for me. So we'll see where I go with that. But platform's fine, my stuff is fine, and I'm not going anywhere from that. Those that don't know me, I am a cancer doctor. I don't just pretend. I'm board certified in internal medicine and oncology, been in the market since the 90s. I quit practicing in 2001. God, how do we clear these drawings off? Whoever wrote those drawings, can you do something that clears the drawings for me? Let's see if I can do it on my end. I didn't realize they're going to be on every screen, so that's not a cool thing. So give me a second, see if there's a way to clear them. Because I don't like that. I don't know how to get rid of it. Again, whoever wrote the no sound, if you're here, please erase what you wrote because it's going to interfere with my video and I don't want to. Well, I guess I can. All right, I'm going to stop sharing and turn the sharing back. Let's see if that gets rid of it. We can hope. All right, glad I did that. So since I've had multiple startups in healthcare, sold a bunch, and I've got 3,200, 3,300, I can't even tell you, maybe 3,500 employees across the world. I work every day, and I work hard every day, but I like trading, so I had to develop a style of trading that allows me to do both. And as I said, I've been teaching people in various formats for over 20 years. I put this up in one of the programs I did recently. I think some people were surprised. I really am still actively involved in the world of cancer care, but not from the perspective of touching patients, but from using real-world data and publishing and helping to make doctors better at what they do. And I actually had something that made, click in the screen share controls. Well, hopefully people got, let's see, screen share controls. I'm looking. Advanced sharing options. Who can share? Yeah, I'm not seeing it. That's all right. Hopefully nobody else is going to draw on it. I actually got published, not once, but I got it published again in a best of, so still actively involved doing that. Much of what I do came from a guy named Ian Woodward that many of you know of, many of you got to attend his live meetings. And what I always loved about Ian was his perspective, which was I'm not a guru. I'll teach you to be your own guru. And he really meant it. I've been to hundreds of educational programs. I doubt anybody owns a software program on this that I don't own or owned in the past. I've learned from many of the names that you know. I've taken all that I've learned, created my own approach, and what I show you comes out of what I've done for 30 years. I'm top down, swing to position. I don't go intraday, although we're going to add an intraday chart to the product just because some people want to see something. I'll probably go to 60 minutes. I use indicators and scans to find the setups. I trade equities and equity options. I like stocks that pull back in an uptrend, pull back to support, and then break out with momentum. Or in yellow, you have the opposite. And this is what the tool is designed to help me find. I'll show you how I can do this in 30 minutes. And although I have multiple platforms that my stuff is in, I don't trade any different than I haven't in 30 years because, these are what really matters in life. I mean, grandkids, can't beat them. One seemed to have moved in. I think she's with me for the next 6 weeks, and she's a 3-year-old and a handful. Family is important. This is my hobby, or my fun hobby, is my boat, which, shocker, I named it Stocks and Docks. I love Michigan football, and I had some health issues in 2004, had some big surgery, all that's great, doing great. And I knew I was in good shape because I was sitting in Teterboro, and I had to be in the OR on Friday, and I was in New York at a meeting Thursday, and I flew back on our jet from Teterboro, and I'm sitting in the private jet center waiting to go. And I'm a Michigan guy. I've been a Michigan guy my whole life. And the new coach of the Wolverines came in, sat down next to me, and we talked for 20 minutes before I left. So I knew I was in good hands because that doesn't happen without some higher being putting him there. Platform availability. HDSI, I have nothing to do with ownership there. I love that tool. I still use it. It's got a learning curve. And much, probably 75% at least of what I do is in HCSI still. Wealth Charts has the Marketplace app. TradeStation, I've built an app with Van that's pretty darn cool because it's neither a scanner or a radar screen, and it's much more stable, and you can put thousands of stocks in it, and you run it once, and then you run all your scans off of it, but it's an end-of-day tool. TradingView, I've got the same indicator set, and then Metastock is coming out with an indicator set, and then tonight we're going to talk about the Market MRI Pro. Which do I like the best? Well, the one that's got everything in it for me is the one we're going to talk about tonight, but it's kind of like which grandchild do I like the best? Of course, it's the one who asks me when the other one's not around. You guys have seen this, most of you before, but since I'm going to post it on the web and I don't know that everybody's seen it, I've learned a lot of things over 30 years. I've learned that day trading is hard, that when I talk to really wealthy people who've made a lot of money in the markets over time, almost none of them are active day traders. They are swing to position traders. They find good stocks and they hold them for a long time. And I think that tells me a story. I know that market direction matters the most, then it's industry group, and then it's the best stock. Again, the biggest money is by holding. Markets are never wrong. Opinions often are. Money management matters. We're not going to talk about that tonight. I've talked a little bit with Praveen from time to time about building something that automates into the platform, and we may. I've got some ideas there. And, if you ever find yourself looking at the market and you think it'll never stop going down or it's never going to stop going up, and you think maybe it's different this time, it is never different this time. Snakes and ladders is what Ian used to play as a kid. I played chutes and ladders. And the story about this is your job is building a nest egg. People promote, I was up 500% on XYZ option. And you need to buy my platform and buy my education. I don't tell you how I do. I tell you the stocks I'm trading. Could tell you how I do, but then I'd have people crawling up my and wanting to see my whatever it is, my broker statements. But your job is to go from 1 to 100, and the earlier you get to 100, you get to retire. And therefore, you want to land on 28 and get taken all the way to 84. You want to ride that bull market. But darn, if you roll a 3, you're right back to 24. You don't want to be doing that with your money. Steady, run it up, take those big bulls when you can get them, but protect your cash and don't give it all up to do it again. And when I was young and dumb, I gave it up and did it again several times. I'm not doing that again. Ancient slide, but this was smart people sitting in a room once a month with Ian and then seeing what happened to their stock picks over the next, 20 or 40 days, 1 month of trading, 2 months of trading, and then retrospectively grading each meeting as were they in a strong market, weak market, or in between. And this is real data, and what it should tell you is in a super strong market, you can double your money in a month, and it does no good to keep holding all those positions because once you get that run, they don't go much further. In a less strong but still bullish market, take your profits. And that's something I've had to learn. So what that's meant to me is I will take off some once, maybe take off some twice, and then let the third aliquot or piece of my position run for a long time. That way I'm putting profits in the bank. And by the way, what pays your bills is not paper accounts or statements that say how much money you're up, but how much money you take out. So you got to find the balance between holding a long time and taking money out. And then the other message is in a bad market, you're going to do bad. It doesn't matter how good you are. If you go long in a weak market, not only will you lose money, but unlike the strong market, you'll continue to lose more in a really weak market. So you got to be careful. And that's why I spend so much time on my videos looking at the market. It's 50% of what happens. The industry is 30%, and being a good stock picker is 20 to 30%. Most people want to beat their chest and be good stock pickers. You make money, in my opinion, by knowing the direction of the market. I look for favorite setups in the top industries, and I'll still do bottoms up because I can't help myself. Bottoms up is fun, and I use different tools to gauge what's working. This is an old book. It's interesting. It wasn't available on Kindle until 2 or 3 years ago, and probably started showing up on Trader Lion, I think it was called, and did an education thing. So I looked at this and the cycles. Many people have drawn these cycles. I think Stan Weinstein's where it started, and I thought, I bet I could mimic this and that I could find an indicator that's going to capture this and capture this going down. And then the 30-week moving average is simple. And so maybe I could come up with a system that will tell me to go long here, get out here, go short here, and get back in here. And I did that. Now, is anything perfect? No. But I use my bongo, and I use a 30-period WMA, and I'm able to identify base, breakout, topping, and breakdown. But what I really want to find is this. Pull back in an uptrend and a retracement, pull back in an uptrend and retracement and a downtrend. That's a spelling, I've never seen, didn't realize that before. That is a typing mistake. But this is what I'm looking for. A pullback trigger, it's pulled back in an uptrend and now it's breaking out, or it's in a downtrend, it's retraced and now it's breaking down. And so that's where the timing model originated, and we'll look at this real time. What is different between this and in wealth charts? Nothing, except I made my life easy. I was able to have Praveen code, a buy-sell signal. So when you turn into a buy, it goes green. And look how long from November of 2023 until just recently, it said stay in the market. Even in this pullback here, which didn't hurt me or hurt anyone because it closed above the WMA. But this is what I want. I want to buy the meat. but I want to be taken out before the market rolls over. You're going to get periods of time that you're whipsawed out. I don't know any program that doesn't do it, but you're not going to find many times when you missed a big run up. Now, if you've been listening to my videos, I was really not happy that this candle right here, which closed like 50 cents below the WMA, triggered it to a sell. But in reality, the market's not gone anywhere since. Now, we'll probably flip to a buy this week, is my guess, if the market goes higher, but that's a huge, huge if. Right now, I have 3 sells. The the Q's turning to a sell this past week. That is not a bullish. If I look at this, we are worst case mixed weak or mixed strong on the weekly. Now, I will look at a daily live in a few minutes, and the daily's all negative. So I put this mixed week, which tells me, I can keep a few positions. I collared my NVIDIA, which I mentioned days ago, because I got worried about it. It's my biggest position by far. I did it because I was worried about the market. Now, I have, unfortunately, these are Wealth charts, which is not unfortunate. It's a great platform. But I have to go back and build these, and Praveen now has enough data there so I could put the buy-sell signal. But you can see in these sell-offs here, bongos go red. And once you get below that WMA, you have to have both be the above and the green. So there's probably a few whipsaws here. But for the most part, it would kept you out of each of these big pullbacks in this, in this century. Now, one of the things that I was very frustrated with is I turned a lot of people on to a spreadsheet that was a real-time market performance, looking at some of the ETFs and some of the sectors. And then a lot of you I've turned on to Sagar Nandi's awesome tools, QEdge, being one of my favorites. I decided that's great, but I need my own. So what you have here is what we call the daily briefing, and it's a real time. Now, I will push the data to this real time, but it only refreshes when you click refresh. There's absolutely no reason to stream something that you're not looking at constantly. And when you hit the refresh, it is a pretty quick refresh in seconds. But it tells you real time what the major indices are. I've got a few more I want to add. Praveen someday will kill me. It gives me NYSE and NASDAQ new highs and new lows to see how we're doing. Probably need to do that for advanced decliners. It has the sectors here, and all of these can look at percent from the open, 1-day change, 5-day change. Down here, I've got 20 and 50-day change. Closing range. One of the things that made me feel good about Friday was not only were we up above 1% on all the major ETFs, we closed near the top of the range. Category themes here. I've got a bunch of themes. I think I want to add a bunch more. And again, I'll work with Praveen. And, I've always treated people that have bought my stuff as family. And I will continue to do that, which means if you'd like something different, if you don't like how it's visualized, if you've got an indicator you want us to add, we'll do our best. I give so much to Praveen, who has joined us. He's done such a great job with this. But just get placed in a queue. It won't happen overnight. Over here on the right, incredibly powerful. I've long looked at Sagar's tool, where he looks at how many sectors are positive, how many industry groups are positive, how many stocks are advancing. And I said, boy, I want more than the S&P 1500. And so we've got that on the NASDAQ and the NYSE. So you have a lot of tools to tell you how the market's doing. And, when these things over here, there's actually real-time divergences. A real-time divergence is, you see the major indices are down. And then all of a sudden you start to see the blue one, which is today, the gray would be the day before, starts to get longer, which means the broader markets start to move. And then guess what? The indexes follow. And so This has been extremely helpful to me. Now, from a sector to industry side, and I'm going to try and do the PowerPoint and be done in another 10 minutes, 15 minutes, so I can go and spend the last 20 in the program. We built this real time, okay, real time, so that I can look at the market anytime, whether it's end of day at 3:30, and I can front run the market for tomorrow. And what we have is I have the sectors, and these are fat, all right? When I mean they're fat is I created a list called the JAS list. We'll probably look at other ways of doing this, but I like this list. It's 100,000 shares and $1 minimum. We refresh it each week, and it gives you a large list, about 3,400 to 3,600 stocks, depending on market conditions. We stuff them into their sectors. We have a software provider that we pay for that has the hierarchy. Each sector has industry groups. So here I clicked on financial services. These are 416 stocks that fall under financial services. These are the different industry groups that fall under financial services. So I could look at all the stocks in financial services. I could look at the 3 strongest ones in financial services, but it allows me to go from sector to industry group to stock. This route is showing up everywhere, and probably because of its earnings and its growth, and it's in financial services, which was one of the leaders this week. Let's say I don't want to go to sector first. I could take our 140 some industry groups, and I can rank them. I can rank them on percent price change. FM2, 5, and 13 are short, medium, and long-term momentum. And we'll come up with other ways of ranking, but what I typically do is I use the FM2. I got to spend more time with the 5, and the 2 may or may not be too fast, but I'm looking for momentum changes in stocks that are pullbacks and uptrends or retracements and downtrends. So I'm really looking for short term. And once I've done that ranking, and this is ranked here by FM2, I'll just go down the list and I'll identify stocks that are interesting. And I think the person who sent me that comment today about Costco, it was an interesting comment. I think I commented in the video this weekend. I just don't get the fundamentals. Is it the world's best retail? Yes. Is it probably the world's best franchise today, all owned by one company, Costco? Yes. But boy, it's 12-month going forward. PE is scary. And the comment was that it's now a holder of wealth, a holder of gold, selling gold. It's probably valued not just like a retailer. Very possible. And then ratio charts, something that, again, I'll throw a call out to wealth charts. Before wealth charts, I never had it so easy to make ratio charts. Turns out you can do them in a lot of platforms, but they're not as intuitive. In eSignal, it's almost like you got to fill out an XML sheet in the background to get your ratios in it. Not intuitive. We're going to have, right now I've got hourly charts, which is a typical one I use, but I like watching other people's videos to learn. And I was watching something that was looking at weekly and daily. And so the Bitcoin is not is a ratio chart versus the spider. The other 11 are the S&P 500 sectors. And I think that getting the time frames of this is going to add value. So I sent Praveen a little, if I say Pratish, because Pratish works for me on the other side of my world, but Praveen, I sent him a text and said, Praveen, I think we ought to add time frames here. And we're also going to add drawings so you could put in trend lines, horizontal lines, etc. And then I supplement with breadth tools. The Hindenburg is a challenge. It is different in every platform. And it all depends, I think, on what you include in your data. Just the common is what I like. The buckets, you've seen me talk about them on the weekends. It is such a great tool for looking at overbought and oversold. AD lines, divergences from price, we've got to build that in. That's one thing that we're missing today. And again, I just sent that text today, so I know it's not here yet. The new high, new lows are built in. We found a bug in the The daily, I believe, that will be in the next release is fixed. Stocks in relation to their moving averages, how many are up. And then all of Eon's mumbo jumbo. And then, I should put, Praveen created a new indicator, which we call the DFib. I hope we don't ever see one because you only see it at the really bottom after a horrible sell-off. But boy, does it nail those major bottoms, which has value. This is the market breadth tool. I'll show you more live in there and explain everything you see, but it's got everything that I follow. And it's done right now, end of day only. I'm not sure if there's any, to be honest, and I've been using these tools forever, not the product, but the various indicators. I'm not sure there's any value in doing it intraday, although I wouldn't mind if the chart moved intraday. And I also want to take it from daily and weekly. Right now, the weekly button isn't set to repeat to do it, but I know this is on Praveen's roadmap. The buckets, Edge Rater is, again, one of my favorite tools, and it's kind of my source of truth because I can control what's in the index. So, every couple days, certainly on the weekend, I'm looking at the buckets and Edge Rater, and I'm looking at the Hindenburg. What I love about Edge Rater and the Hindi is I can run it on any index if I have the components. But the buckets really got me going. And so what we've done is we're looking at the NYSE, the NASDAQ, the Russell 2000, and the S&P 1500. And from bucket here, which is bucket 1, although I don't see the 1, to here, bucket 10, are 10 slices or of percent B, 10 from 0 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 30. And it tells me where the stocks are between the Bollinger Bands. And this one here is how many are below, and this one here is how many are above. And you'll find that market reversals, and we saw one Friday. Is it a dead cat bounce? Got my bet, but we'll see. Doesn't matter what I think. I'm going to trade what it does. But it was, and I talked about it, I think, on the video on Thursday. We were extended, and we knew we'd reverse. And the gray represents yesterday. And Praveen has told me he's building something so we can actually go back in time and we can watch the ebb and flow, the dynamics of the change in the buckets. But this is done, it is done real time during the market. Not sure how often we're updating it. It doesn't mean to be every 15 seconds. I would think every 5 or 15 minute updates would be fine. So all these different markets, and why does that matter? NYSE, it's got banks, it's got energy. It doesn't have a lot of tech. NASDAQ has a lot of tech. It doesn't have a lot of banks or energy. S&P 1500, it's a great one to look at because it has the 500, the 600 small, and the 400 mid. But there's a lot of stocks beyond that. And then you got the Russell 2000. So it gives you 4 ways of looking at what's working, moving up and moving down in the market. And then how do you find the best opportunities? And that's the indicators. Now, there is no magic in indicators. I mean, I was watching this guy today and he's selling an indicator for like $500 and he's making all these great promises. I've bought a lot of those indicators and then I try and figure out what the heck did I buy? And the reason is, what are indicators from? You have certain variables. There's 3 of them: price, volume, and time. Now you could look at where price closed within the bar. All right, that's good. You could look at different time frames on the same chart. That could be cool. But at the end of the day, no matter who has indicators, they're price, volume, and time. That's the inputs. Then there's math. So in this product, I have my indicators to help me find that pullback to support in an uptrend. The bongo and the pattern of the bongo tells me about pullbacks, retracements. Squeeze is a nice thing because, well, we know the squeeze was not, well, it was not invented by John Carter. He did combine the squeeze, which rumor has it, one of his buddies found on a bulletin board back in the days that we had bulletin boards, with a momentum indicator, and that's his TTM squeeze. God bless him, it's a great indicator. But what the squeeze tells me is we've pulled back and we're going sideways, and the moving averages are tightening up. And that when we pull out of a squeeze, we get big moves. So if I have a squeeze, then I'm probably at an area where I've either retraced or pulled back and I'm basing. I have indicators for failed new high and failed new low. I did not create a PSAR reversal, but I like the PSAR reversal. It's a decent trending indicator. And I put it not on the chart, but I put it in the dots. And then I have 4 main dots, which are in this area here. And those main dots look at gaps, volume, breakout, a specific type of breakout created by David Elliott called a MOBO breakout, and then a momentum, which is a combination of a couple of Ian indicators. And we're going to change it to just say momentum. It's kahuna, it's a force, and a couple other things, so we're going to rename that. I've got my high-low oscillator, which tells me if I'm extended or not. I have 2 independent trading models that I use. One I call the EMS, one I call the CPR, and they're up at the top, and they validate, and they can also be used independently. And it's these impulse indicators here, which I should have erased that I combine, and I am looking for, to steal a word, that the guy who did the stock predator, and their answer was, well, you gave $2,500 for a beta software, we're not responsible that it doesn't work, is I don't agree with that. That's how I would never treat a customer. But he uses a word called confluence, and I'm looking for a confluence of signals. And what I'm also looking for is relative strength versus the spider. Here is a moving average, and I'm looking for when it breaks above that moving average or below, especially on the next time frame. And then I look at unbalanced volume. So I look at this, and you're looking at this, and you're crossing your eyes. If you've ever seen it before, and what is this guy doing? I sum it up down there. At work, I use an EKG on a patient with little things attached to their chest, their arms, and their legs. And I would look at patterns that look like that, and I could tell their general health, their ebb and flow of their heart. Were they having a heart attack? Why shouldn't we be able to do the same thing for the stock market? And so these relative strength and OBV are, I call them best supporting actors. I'm trying to come up with code for a good divergences, and that's on our roadmap. I've got some that I'm going to share with Praveen. I still use an old program called Stock Charts, I think it was called, which was a Warden product that they discontinued like in 2013. But I had somebody build me a MACD divergence tool on it, and it's phenomenal. I'm going to try and port that. I got to get that over to Praveen. And then this thing here, to be honest, this is what I asked for. Our overachieving programmer built the whole darn program. This is what I wanted. It's hard for you to see here, so I'm just going to tell you. You've got all those stocks. There's that 3,461 that met what I'm looking for. I've got their little picture of what they are, their symbol, their last price to change the percent. And then I've got how many up impulses, how many down impulses, real time. I think we update it, and Praveen put the number in here to keep me honest. I think during the market we update it multiple times a minute. And then where it says age and weekly age, if it's red, that means the bond goes red. If it's green, it means the bond goes green, and it tells you how many bars, daily or weekly, since it changed color. Then I have the same 3 momentum indicators. I have relative volume that during the day will help me find the stocks that have the big volume. I have that OBV. Now, who cares what the number is? It doesn't mean anything. But if it's green, it tells me it's crossed above the moving average and how many bars. And if it's red, it tells me it's crossed below and how many bars. And then I have 2 time frames of that relative strength. And let me tell you, that is a secret weapon, that relative strength. And it tells me, are we above green or below red and how many days, or on the weekly one, how many weeks since we switched. So I could scan, or I can rank by double clicking during the day, real time. And I don't think Praveen is listening to me because I want to know how Up. Yep. How often are we updating this grid? I think it was 15 seconds. I can't remember. During the day, you'll see a blue line going back and forth, or whatever color it shows up on your computer, and that's basically the real-time updating. Now, I'll show you in the program, there's a little thing here, a little arrow, and when I click on it, it brings down some of my pre-formatted scans. Pullbacks and uptrends, retracements and downtrends, bottom fishing, rockets, and then I have a bunch of bullish. Every 1 minute now will move to 15 seconds. 1 minute's pretty good. I have a bunch of bullish and bearish signals, and then I've got some modifiers like price and volume. Here I clicked on pullback and uptrends, my 2-day momentum, soon to be named, price over 5, volume greater than 500, above the 200 moving average, and I clicked on it. In 2 slides, you'll see what I got. My A trade, I am not a counter trend trader. I want the top sectors and industry groups. I want that pullback and an uptrend that's going to be identified by the bongo. I want the move off of support, which are my impulse indicators. I want my supporting evidence, and I don't want to be extended, the high-low. I want to make it quick and easy. So here's what I want, and here's what I found. I clicked this setup right here, okay, and we're going to develop a way to save that so you don't have to click it every time. In fact, that's supposed to be one of the next releases. And I got 3M. This is an old company. I was shocked. Is it an uptrend? Absolutely. Did it just pull back to support? It pulled back to the 50, free parking. And did it break out? It just took out the prior highs. That's exactly what I want. Notice all the blues down here. This is the CPR, and the EMS is also flipping. That's why there's no dot under that volume bar. Notice the relative strength has moved up, as has the OBV. So that is what I'm looking for. And that was just clicking and searching. It only gets better. Praveen is hard at work. At launch, we have fundamentals, multiple custom watch lists. Should be done now or almost done with cloud-based savings of your personal settings and drawings. Why? So when you open up a different computer, you get the same support and resistance lines. And then I'll show you the TradingView connectivity. In coming weeks to months, probably weeks, more charting windows. My guppy charts, which is something that, again, I learned from others and I build them. Seasonality, custom ratio charting so you can make your own ratios. Our data provider has news headlines, so we're going to bring that in. Again, I mentioned divergences. We want to add tools. If you have tools that you like, tools that you created, and it's kind of the same deal as Rob Hoffman, which isn't a bad thing. And this is one of the things that really got me excited by Rob. As long as I can give it to everybody else as part of their product, we'll code it for you, put it in the program. Now, I am going to have dinner with my buddy John Person on next Saturday, and I'm going to try hard because whenever I run his stuff in TradeStation, my TradeStation scanner kicks me out 3 times before it gets done, and he'll blame it on the fact that I'm scanning 5,000 stocks, and he's right, but it still shouldn't do that. I'd like to get him there. I know a lot of you have asked about Sagar. I'd love to get Sagar there. Sagar really doesn't have any interest in going beyond TradeStation and Metastock. It kills me because I think he's got some of the best original stuff in the market. I'll talk about this in a second. Now, I'm going to get to the price and then I'm going to jump into the program. You know it's not cheap. I hope no one hates me, but it's not. The trading app is expensive. I've had Praveen working his butt off on this for several months. It's self-contained. It requires licenses for the charting module, for the grid. It requires a data feed. It requires various DevOps tools. It also requires us having a support person to make sure that the program doesn't go down. It has a server farm. We've got multiple servers across the U.S. for speed, but mostly for redundancy. And there's lots of positives by making my own app. I get to control the user interface and the workflow. Now, I've also done a lot of indicators. They're easy. You code it once and you forget. You have to update it when Thinkorswim or TradeStation or TradingView changes. I don't have to pay for any server software licenses or data. And frankly, most of the things I bought, they had a lot of user support. I always answer my emails. So what are we offering? Market-ready trading tool and platform, full set of my indicators, all updates and improvements to the platform as long as a subscriber. New educator tool sets will be added as a fee, similar to the marketplace and wealth charts. Support responses within 24 hours. You know me, you got my email address, and I know Praveen's, and actually you will too in a second. You'll get real-time data. It will be updated the way it makes sense. All right? You don't need to update buckets streaming, but it would be nice to be able to click a button and get an instantaneous update on everything. The TradingView integration, I'll include all my TradingView indicators. Now, Praveen in his spare time has to create one super indicator from about 8 of ours, or you'll find that the free subscription to TradingView will not work. It'll only work up to so many indicators. But the basic indicator packages, the basic TradingView package will work fine. And if we can combine the indicators into just 3 or 4, then you won't have to pay for TradingView. I will continue to do quarterly training. People probably know I love to teach. That's why those things go 3.5 hours. And then I always take care of family. That means if you bought my tools, I will give you a discount. Now, you don't know how the tools world and the indicator world works. There's usually 2 parties. There's the party that introduces you to the marketplace. So think of Wealth Charts, Rob Hoffman. Think of all the different Metastock has their forums. And then there's the person who has the product. There's a split on every one of those. So if you've bought my TradeStation tools, well, I've gotten a part of it, and the programmer and the place where it's sold on Van Store has the other half. So it's not huge discounts, but you can stack the discounts and get the cost down. So what's the cost? If we were going to charge no discounts, it would be $19.99 for the first year, and that includes the TradingView indicators and all the education. Stacking discounts that are good until March 10th at 5 p.m. You get $200 off because of the launch. If you sign up for Top Down Trader, the Top Down Trader group, you get another $100 just for signing up. You can cancel the next day. If you own Wealth Charts, you get $200. If you own their marketplace indicator, I gotta be careful what I say. If you own the marketplace indicator, you get another $200. If you own the TradeStation app, you get another $200. And I'm going to change that TradingView indicator discount to $200 because this is the only tool I have that actually the person that I split it with is the guy I split this program with. So I'll put $200 there as well. So in fact, let me see if I can't change that while we're sitting here so I don't forget. And because if it goes out to the marketplace. So many of you already have everything I just said. So if I put $200 there, that means you can buy it for the first year for $10.99 if you have all 3 of these. The most you'll pay is $16.99, but if you have my marketplace or you have the TradeStation tool or you have our TradingView package, we'll give you an additional $200 off. And believe me, there are a few people that are going to get this for $10.99. Now, what about the next year? When I thought about pricing it and I look at what else is in the market, and I kid you not, I own every platform you could think of. I'm crazy. I also have a lot of money, so I can do what I want. Beam me up, Scotty. Second year and beyond, I wanted to do $7.99, but anybody who purchases it in this period, this time frame through the next week, will get guaranteed at $5.99 max. However, that may not stick. Why? Because the more people I have, the more I can defer the cost. The cost is the data, the charting platform, and everything else that goes with the product. So the most you'll pay is $5.99 for year 2 and beyond. Now you're wondering, man, that sucks. Why do I want to have to pay for something on an ongoing basis? Think of 2 programs, Magenta Trader and Best Choice Software. They are both gone. There is a reason they are both gone. They are both gone because they allowed you to give a big amount of money, $10,000 to Best Choice when it was the original, and then you could buy lifetime data on both Best Choice, and it was, I think, $5,000 on Magenta. Guess what happens after you have nobody buying your platform because all the people that are interested have bought it? You have zero cash flow. No one to pay for the data, no one to pay for all the different modules that you're purchasing from a third party. So be happy, sounds horrible, that because as long as I have the income coming in and can pay for all the things that I have to pay for, this thing can go on forever. Now, if I have 100 people buy it, I will fall over dead. Okay, I'm not expecting that. I'm not a marketer. Just ask those people that ask me to talk and they find out I don't sell much because I'm a good guy. I like to teach. I'm not here to take your money, but I will. If I have 30 people that buy it during the year, I'll be able to cut that probably to $3.99. And so that's my word is once I get to see how the uptake is, I will cut down that price even more on the annuals. Because I don't think neither Praveen or I are here because we're going to get rich on this product. We love the product. We put our hearts into the product, and we want to keep it going and alive. Fine print, no refunds after first 72 hours. Most products don't give any refunds, but I'll give you 3 days from the time you get your link and credentials. There are no guarantees you'll make money trading. All right, you can review the ability of my tools to find good opportunities from looking at hundreds of videos. However, the actual performance varies, and most important, we all trade ticker symbols differently. We have different strategies. We have different money management. We have different size accounts. We'll do our best to make sure this is working 24/7, 365. I know how to find Praveen during the day when I go there and I have something not working. We are reliant on outside data vendors and servers, and we'll do the best we can to make sure they're up and running. And any service issues we've had, any issue I've had, and I've been using this for months, they're fixed within a day. So if you're not in the top-down trader group, please go to Google and join so you get the extra $100. Yes, that's a gimmick. I want to grow that group because I like interacting. And then the live meeting, I think it's going to be $300 in Orange County. We run this one cheap intentionally so people don't have any barriers. And some of the people on this call have been to that meeting. We bust our hearts, we bust our butts to make sure you get incredible value like you're spending $3,000. And then for more information, I'm going to go into the program shortly. This is Praveen coding at marketmripro.com. This is me, marketmripro@gmail.com. I also have Jeffrey.Scott at marketmripro.com. Please join the Top Down Trader group. And I'm going to send out the video and slide to all the people in the Top Down group before I go to bed tonight. Now, let us go into the program. I'm watching for questions. So far, I think you all dropped dead when I showed you the price, but I mean, I know what everything costs in the market, and it is not, I think we priced it reasonable, especially with the discounts that we're giving. Yes, this is TradeStation, and I had the futures on here. You know, John Person put out his newsletter tonight, and John's a brilliant market guy. And he mentioned this, and I don't know if anybody's looked at Bitcoin tonight. Where do I have Bitcoin? I know I got it in one of them. Don't I have it in this, one of these? Well, I will then it's over here. Bitcoin's going crazy. And it's all because of what's going on. Maybe I don't have it on this one. Darn, I had it somewhere. All right, here it is. Bitcoin is up now 10.71%. It's up 9,000 points tonight. And that is a big move, probably because of some of the stuff coming out of the Trump camp about what they're going to do and which are the coins that they're going to be putting in the reserve. Bizarre to me, but that's because I'm 67 and I'm not my 35-year-old son. When it says WH, it says a weekly bongo. WRS is weekly relative strength. Our data does have futures and crypto, but we're going to have access to it, but I'm not sure I'm going to have minute charts. We can have minute charts, but really for those that are swing traders to position traders, it probably makes sense to keep it at 60 and above, but we'll take that under advisement. And I do like the futures because of the movement after hours. Now, for those that don't know Sagar, let me just show you what his charts showed on Friday. And these are the futures: E-minis, NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, and then Bitcoin today. This thing here, I can't remember if it's called a headwind or a stretch. Doesn't really matter. It is a signal of extreme move overboughtness in the market and almost always sees a reversal. Notice we had the same thing up here and the market traded down. These show up intraday. I would kill to have the code, but I won't kill Sagar because I like him too much, on how he does his trend lines, automated trend lines, and these things here, because they are worth their purchase price. Let's go into the app. This is what you're going to see when you launch. I always forget to show the trading view integration. The TV for trading view. You click that, and that lemonade we just looked at is going to open up in trading view. Here's the fundamentals: high, low jump, 3 time frame bongos. I took the moving averages off for cleanliness. This is our predicted seasonality, and I'm going to have, and there's some more of the seasonality numbers down here, and I'll have Praveen talk about this at another webinar. It's got the CPR and EMS here. This is also the CPR there. The same dots, the squeeze. Coming out of the squeeze, you get the green dots because I want to scan for when stocks come out of it. PSAR, and then the green candle low and the red candle high. I've got 2 time frames on one chart of relative strength versus the spider. I got a weekly and a daily. You can do that in trading view, and I've got the OBV. It's the exact same chart. All you got to do is click the TV and you'll bring your chart up. Now, this is something, and I found a calculation error, and I told Praveen today, and it will be fixed. If you hover on this here, you are going to open up fundamentals. We're probably going to have the same functionality on news. I'll let Praveen decide how he wants to do that. If you pull away, it goes away. If I click on it, it stays. This is telling you when the next earnings date is, May 14th. We're not telling you morning or night, and we don't guarantee these dates. It's what we get from our provider. Here is the last earnings dates, was 2/26, 17 cents. I compare it to 2/27. It was 28 cents. So when this is correct, it was down 39%. But the market was surprised because they expected it to be even lower. Here is the revenue, $25.96 versus 23. So that's up a little bit over 10%, 12% change, which was less than expected. To me, those are all I need on earnings. Here's going back a while on the earnings, and then some of the things here that I thought were important. Now, it's not a secret where we get our data, and I hope nothing dirty pops up here. We get our data, or a lot of our work, from something called financial modeling prep, and I think Praveen's going to kill me because I spent hours looking at all the data sets that they have here, because technically, and it's called financial modeling prep. Anything that they have here, I think we can bring into the program. So all day long, I was sending Praveen some goodies. All right, so let me just go to everyone in meeting. I will send out a link in Top Down Trader of how to purchase the product. If you're a beta tester, it'll stay active for another week, so you're not under the gun to get it done. And we'll honor the price through the end of, I think it's Monday 5 o'clock is what I put the deadline on. But if you go to that site, that Financial Modeling Prep, and you go under API documentation, it tells you all the things that they have that we can use. So the question about crypto, yeah, we have crypto. Whether or not Praveen wants to build it in, that's up to Praveen. Do we have futures? It also has futures. So we will build upon what's in there based upon what people think are important. It's got a bunch of different news sources, including crypto news. And so I would anticipate that we'll have the same type of a drop-down box. Yes, you could use TV for crypto. They do a great job. And thanks, Tom, for your comment. So you find things you want, and we'll find a place to get them in the program. I'm thinking I want to be able to track a chart of earnings. Here's something I haven't told you about. We're trying to recreate something like the relative strength that's in IBD. And so, they don't tell you exactly what it is. But we have this here, and you can see relative strength rank is both here. It says 96. And when I highlight it, you see the same thing. So I think that will be helpful to us as well. So let me show you, and I promised my wife this wasn't going to be 3 hours, and there's people here on the East Coast. It is not going to be 3 hours. And I got one guy on 4 times. I know, Stephen, I know you love me, but 4 times. Here is how I will approach the market. Here is my workflow, and here is how I do this in 20 minutes. I come into the program, and typically the first thing I look at is timing brief. Timing brief is the market timing model. On the market timing model, I look at the charts, but what I really look at is the breakdown here, here, and here, and I'm looking at the data. And the data tells me that we're in a sell on the S&P. I'm in a new sell on the Qs. I've been in a sell on the Russell, and I'm barely in a buy still on the diamonds. Why am I still in a buy? Because even though the bond goes red, I've got to close below the WMA to trigger a sell. That is not a strong market. I can look at the daily market, and I can just, my BDIs, sell, 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 sell. 7 out of 8 between the daily and weekly are telling me to sell. This is not a market to be going hero long, okay? I'm starting to wonder if we got a Darvis box here on the Qs. And what I want to show, let's go look at the end of 21. So let's look at, see if this will work. 12/1/2021. Oh my gosh, it worked. Hey, look at that. The Russell had been in a Darvis box for some time, and then it gave us a false break, and then the rest was history. It just got clobbered. But notice how quick you can see what happens over time. So you can go back. How about March 3/09, 2008, the day I started to make a lot of money. Now you could see I did not go long in my model until this bar right here. And the date of that bar was March 18th on the 8th. What was the date that was felt to be the low of the market? Was March 9th. I'll take coming in a week later. and it kept you long most of this way up. So I really love this timing thing. Is it perfect? No, because you're going to get these things and go, you're not going to stay in this, or you could have stayed in that. And then you get back in. And I don't like that whipsaw, but that's looking at a daily. You can look at the weekly charts. I don't know if I'll keep the dates. Probably won't keep the date. I have to put it back in. So let me do that. But now I'm taking away from my 20 minutes, so I got to go back to what I was doing. Now it should find 2008, but I'm not going to give it time to load all the data. But basically, I'll look at this, and I already gave you my thoughts on the market. I'll talk about the Orange County, Steve, in a few minutes. All right, that's the first thing I do, in or out of the market, and this tells me be careful. Raise cash, protect your positions if you're long, but be careful. Maybe sell some calls against your positions. Maybe what I did on my NVIDIA, I got nervous when NVIDIA was 130, and I called a place where I have a lot of NVIDIA, and I said, buy 125 puts and sell 180 calls and do them in November, and it would cost me $2 a contract. And I have a lot of NVIDIA. So I spent a lot of money to protect my NVIDIA. It's sitting at 125 now. My puts have gone up, and my calls have gone, the short calls have gone down. I got to figure out what I'm going to do with it. But I sleep at night because if the market goes to zero, I'll be able to retire on what's left of my NVIDIA at 125. And that's just a life decision I made. All right, so that's that. The next thing I'm going to look at is my markets, the US ETFs. So it's set up now, so you can click on it and hit this, and it will grow up and give you the full chart. You can play around with it. And, is this going to be a Darvas box and a false breakout? Are we coming all the way down? I think so. Don't know for sure, but we might. And again, the same indicators are here. We have all kinds of drawing tools if you want to do some drawing tools. Of course, I'm horrible at it. And all right, well, it's supposed to be doing it, but whatever. It worked fine because I've got the other lines in it. But you can build out your own support and resistance. Here's that Darvas box. Here's the diamonds. And I'll look at each of these and get a sense of what the market's doing. I get the real VIX here, and it updates real time. I've got the dollar here. I could go with DX instead of UUP, and that might be something I might want to do. I can look at different time frames. Maybe not active yet. It will be active for weekly and monthly. And this will update during the day. I've got the same thing for commodities. And these are 1750, 200, bongos, high jump, just to get a sense of what's going on in the market. I think that tells me a lot. The daily briefing is that thing I showed you before. Takes a little bit to load the first time. And again, it's going to have the daily performance up here of the major ETFs, including the VIX. And I want to add mid caps and crypto here. So those will be the next two that I add. This is looking at new high, new lows of the different time frames of the NYSE and the NASDAQ. Why? Because I've watched enough things that I'm pretty convinced bull markets are made on new highs and they don't go up on new lows. And when you build up the new lows, it's bad. And then I talked about the sectors and the themes here. We talked about this. I look at the buckets briefing just to get a sense how many stocks are at the bottom below, how many stocks are above. This shifted to the right is what I call it, meaning stocks moved higher in their Bollinger Bands on Friday. You could see the gray above, which means this was more on Thursday. And you could see the green above the gray, more on Friday. So we're shifting to the right, which was a bullish move. But you could see we have nothing that says we're too bullish. In fact, we're still too bearish. Then I'll look at the market breadth and just to see, do we have any new signals? And just to show you what's there. And right now this is daily, and I've asked Praveen to do it in weekly as well. Tale of two markets. On the left is the NYSE. On the right is the NASDAQ. This is the 200. Notice back here at the end of the year and the beginning of the year, the NYSE sold off hard and the NASDAQ did not. And now the NYSE is above the 50 and the NASDAQ came to visit the 200. Is that not the optimal place to move higher? Unless we're going in a recession, I think that was a bottom. I really do. And not just because, at least a short-term bottom, not just because Sagar has his little plus there. But this thing is nowhere close to a bottom. And interestingly, this is a Hindenburg omen that fired on the NYSE on Friday. These are those moving average stocks above. And if you put your cursor on there, it tells you 34% above the 20, 42 above the 50, and 45 above the 200. What happens at lows? It looks like this. What happens at highs? It looks like this. Does it look like that? No, there's no signal. Up here, it's hard to see this, but you have new high, new lows, you have advanced decliners, and you have up-down volume. This tells you new high, new lows were negative, advanced decliners were positive, and the up-down volume was positive because these numbers are the last bar, and this is the same pattern over here on the NASDAQ. My ratio charts, again, I've asked Praveen to, if we can, to give us not just an hourly, but a daily and a weekly, and to bring the drawing tools here. And this is something that I don't think you need updated during the day. I love this in wealth charts. I had to build it here. And it turns out, like I said, you can build it in other platforms too. I'm just going to have it done for me. And then we're going to allow you to customize your own. Do you want to look at the spiders versus the Qs? That might be interesting. Fangs versus the spiders, something I look at on wealth charts. But you could see communications is up at the top. Defensive staples is at the top. Utilities has come up a lot. Real estate, all defensive players have come up. And healthcare, which is defensive. We've rotated into defense. What's lagging here big time? Discretionary and tech. We've rotated out of those into defense. So that tells me everything that I need to know about the stock market. Yes, I agree with the comment. I'd like the futures, and I want the futures for that reason. Now, since not everybody has those pluses, I typically just look at this, and this has some automated trend lines on it, but it has the moving averages, and there's no reason why we can't have a view of futures and running on one of the great question, Bazi. I'm going to get to the two questions I see there in just a second. So now I'm going to go to the layout. Now, I use the JAS layout. Again, what I'm thinking of is having one be that combo that I put on wealth charts in my YouTube videos, and one will be what I call my consolidated buys, which are just a refresh list of stocks that made it to somebody's list. So I think I'll talk to Praveen about that. I'll have to update them weekly. But this is really cool here. That impulse list, the top down, I'm going to go into it first. And you could see you've got all the different sectors. If I want to look at consumer staples, I think that one is called defensive here. And you could see the 134 staples. You could look at two-day momentum, which has become my go-to, and take a look at what's number one. Here's your Costco. Why am I nervous about Costco? And I did appreciate the comment that came to me today. It's green. It's great. It has lots of surprises. It pays a 2.28% dividend. Its forward PE is 330. All I can say is, okay, I don't get the valuation. But things in an uptrend, it's pulling back. All I got to do is break above this line, and I'm probably going to be buying Costco because why does it matter? I don't care what PEs are, but boy, this one is bizarre. If I want to look instead at, okay, if I want to look at just industry groups, so I was told to shift to click to undo this. So let's see. I shift. Nope. I'll try this again. Shift. Oh, click. Yeah, I've had it. Nah, it doesn't seem to be doing it on my computer, Praveen. Shift, click. All right. what we're getting at is I've had a hard time going backwards after I've identified one sector and getting rid of the industry group. So Praveen has built a fix in, but it doesn't seem to be doing it for me. So I had these here. All right, so I guess I just do this. I put them all in. I should have all the sectors, the industry groups, but there needs to be a way that if I do that I get them all. I think I just did. All right, so it does work. So you can rank them any way you want to rank them. Like I said, I like the 2-day. And another thing that I like to do is just take the top 10. Why waste my time on things that aren't in the top group? And then take these, do a 2-day ranking. Priceline, now called booking, looks great here. Big uptrend, a little bit of a pullback here to the 50. A breakout here would be interesting. Here's Costco. Netflix has been super. Pull back here to the 50. It's going to give us a great look at these. Every time it's done this, Ian calls this free parking for a reason. Meta, done well. Look at Disney. I mean, you think 3M is boring? What about Disney? I mean, this one's forming kind of a cup here. Is this thing going to break out and go higher? Look at what's going on here with the dots. So I love the top-down opportunity. So just to review, I can pick one or more of the sectors. When I pick that sector, all the sectors, all the industry groups in that sector will light up. And then when I click on them, it'll just limit it to the ones that are in the industry groups that I identified. And then not only can I rank them, I can drop my filters on and I can look for, are any of these pullbacks in an uptrend? And I wish I had an or, Praveen, because I wouldn't mind hitting all 3 of the bullish signals here, or 4 bullish signals. But we can look at the 2-day momentum, which has been awesome. And the only one that's there is X in that list. And that's kind of a dirty chart. I'm not interested, although it probably goes higher. Let's go to the bottoms up. And I want to talk a little bit. Tom, fair question. So let me show you. First thing is, remove all filters before looking at hot lists if you're looking for things. Click the top one, hit your shift key, hit the bottom, hit the delete key on your computer, gone. And what were those? Were those my shorts or my longs? All right. Import from file. Go find where you keep stuff. I keep my stuff in a Dropbox folder, so it works on all my computers. Now I just got to find the Dropbox folder because I forgot where it was, but it's probably on here. And I have I'm anal on this, but I got everything has their own day. See if I can make this spread out a little bit more. I think it's this one. Yep. And this was my shorting candidates, so I have it in a CSV file. Same file I used to import it into wealth charts, and it came back. All right, so futures. All right, Marcus, your vote counts too. You bought a computer for me. I think you bought 2 of them. Your vote really counts. Orange County meeting. Steve, I think you came to a couple of the live meetings that I did. You may have come to one I did with George Lee. This was George Lee's great meeting, and I wanted to pay homage to George, may he rest in peace, by continuing that Orange County meeting. And George was all about being inexpensive. That's why it's about $300. If they raise it to $400, don't get mad at me. That meeting typically will include me, Dev, who is a local guy. Is he in Chicago? I can't remember if he lives in LA or Chicago. Dev is a great trader, faster trader than I. He'll talk a couple hours. Chris White from LA. Chris from Edge Raider will pipe in from England. We lost another giant this year. We lost Dave McMullen, but he would come in as well. And then I might have one person that is more commercial, although I guess I'm commercial now. Sorry about that. Maybe I'll invite John Person to pipe in. And I'll speak probably 50% of the time over 3 days. I will go through in great depth my process, how I look at markets, how I look at stocks. more where these indicators came from, I will probably spend a lot of time using this program because it's all here. I don't have to go to 7 programs. I still use HDSI every day, TradeStation every day, Wealth Charts in this one. And Metastock has some tools from Sagar in it, and I use that. But when it comes to doing my videos, I'll do my Wealth Charts video, and I'll do the video on this because it's so much easier. On the bottoms up, and then I'll come back to the Sagar questions. Impulses, here's the 3,461 stocks. Again, I can rank them by relative volume. It just says they had a lot of volume. It doesn't tell me if they were up or down, but these are going to be stocks that moved. That was a big move. NVNI moved the other way. So it can help you during the day, I think. What I do when I start doing this kind of manipulation is I go in here and I want price over 5. I want volume greater than 500,000. Nothing else is clicked. This is over on the stock side. I hit OK. And now I'm down to 2,000. I got rid of a lot of the junk. So these are more stocks that I might be more interested in. During the day, I'm going to look at, gee, does anybody got dots? Ooh, TPC, 5 dots. Ooh. Now I got to decide the high jump. High jump is fine. Massive volume. EMS switch, had a CPR. All 4 of the other dots coming out of a squeeze. That's the red that we're changing to green. And then look at relative strength and OBV. I have a winner chicken dinner. I like TPC. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it in my buy watch list, and maybe I'm going to work it up and decide. And I'm not doing that tonight, kids. I got to go to sleep too. But I would basically find where TPC was, right up at the top. I'd right click on it and I'll put it in list B, which is my buy watch. We're going to have them saying buy watch, sell watch, and I think another heading I gave Praveen just to make my life easy so I don't have to remember. Now, I have 4 different buys and sell signals that I can scan for, and I also have the pattern. So let's put pullbacks and uptrends, and now I've got down to 201. Heck, I could sit here and I could go through one at a time just by hitting the down arrow. And this is pretty fast, isn't it, for a web-based? The X looks interesting. And I could look at all of those that have that. It takes too long. PBA looks interesting. How about throwing into there one of the signals? I talked about the 2-day. Let's look at the multi-time frame CPR. That means that that system has to be in a buy on the weekly, and it just switched to a buy on the daily. So that's in here. And let's look at some XOMs. You see the new signal here on the daily. And if I look at a weekly, here's a signal on the weekly. So it's already in a weekly uptrend, and it just flipped to the daily uptrend. Pretty cool. So that's one of my signals. The one that's been my best signal, and Praveen and I have been trading it for months, is a 2-day momentum up, which is what it'll be called when you get to see that. Yep, my position, shorts and longs, are the columns. And the one that I really liked, well, I liked a couple this weekend. Visa and MasterCard, look at these things. I mean, how bad can this market be? Well, this is extended. How bad can this economy be? I'm worried about this economy, to be honest. MasterCard didn't make that list, but MasterCard, I typed it in up here, and then I'm going to rank, list it by signals. Here's somewhere's here MasterCard. MasterCard is coming right up here. If MasterCard breaks out above this, it's less extended, pull back in an uptrend and breaking out. It's got volume breakout momentum, great relative strength at OBV. I might be interested in MasterCard, even though it's not on the list. A lot of insurers made the list this week. This one hasn't broken out yet. It's getting close. Global Life is breaking out. So this has been a great tool. This is more of a bottoms-up approach. How do I make it top-down? It's simple. I go into the top-down. I take, let me see if this will work. We're going to check it out. Shift. Yeah, I still am having Let's try this one more time. And it might just be me. Shift. All right, we'll make it so it reverts back to the full list. But I might just maybe I'll take the 3 biggest changing sectors on the day. Financial services, utilities, and communications. Let me just make sure. Yeah, I think the reason why there's only 3 things showed up is because I've got my filters on. But here I found those groups: MetLife, Global Life, and Visa are in the top 3 groups. Let's talk about Sagar. I am such a fan of Sagar that I couldn't figure out, did I want his TradeStation tool set or his Metastock tool set. So I wanted both. So I started corresponding with him when he was living in Singapore. And I made him a deal. I'd pay him in advance for 15 years, literally. And I think my 15 years are going to be up soon. No one remind him. But I paid him in advance for 15 years. His tools are like $1,500 a year. All right. I paid him in advance for 15 years because I knew that was going to be a go-to product for me. And he has it in TradeStation and in Metastock. I would love to have his tool set. He's not going to give them to me. And it's not that he doesn't trust me and he's not my buddy. He's my buddy. The question came back is, do you get his tools if you get mine? No. But what I've done, and I'm just going to show you what I did with that thing in, I think I scanned it already. So Van and I built this thing here. It looks like a radar screen, doesn't it? But what it is, it's a scanner. But the TradeStation scanner doesn't look like that. The TradeStation scanner, all you get in the TradeStation scanner is this. And by the way, it is not a stable platform. It's 32-bit and it sucks. But that's just my personal opinion. How about you run it once and then you hit filter results, and I've got the same types of filters here. So let's look at pullback in uptrend with a Q breakout. Bung. Bung. And almost instantaneously, it's going to list the stocks. And if you go and look at most of the ones that were in my list are here. Allstate was another of the insurance companies that I liked. So what I've done with Sagar is he still won't give me the code to build anything. But he has functions. And he gave me the access to the functions. And they only work if you own his tool with the DLL. So I was able to combine his functions. And for those that don't know Sagar, not only does he have cool indicators, each one of these, pullback, breakout, bounce, box, touch, reversal, headwind, and flow is a unique independent trading system. And I can combine my signals, there's my EMS and my CPR, but I can combine my signals with things like breakout. So it's separate product. I am going to beg, but I can't borrow or steal because I don't do that. And I don't think he's going to put it in, but I'm going to try hard. So that's the product, folks. I love it. I use it all the time. I got a bunch of people using it. You know, would it be nice if it was free? Yeah. But do you think you'd get me supporting it all the time? And do you think you'd get Praveen being there to help you with support? And you don't want me to go the way of our friends from Magenta Trader and disappear. So I'm not going anywhere. I'm old, but I'm young at heart, and I still do everything I want to do, and I hope to be here for many more years. I've got some big events in my life, bar and bat mitzvahs and weddings of grandkids, so I'm not going anywhere. Here's the deal, one more time. Each of the prior purchases are worth $200. Since I don't get all the people who bought my Wealth Chart Marketplace. You'll have to take a screenshot showing the scanner. TradeStation app, you probably have to give me a screenshot of that as well. And then we know who's got the trading view because Praveen turns it on and off. Launch discounts for everybody, top-down group. Everybody who's in the top-down group gets it. So I think for $10.99, and I hate to say this word, it's a steal. For $19.99, it's expensive. It's still a good deal. I hope you can get it down with my discounts. The most you pay is $16.99. And like I said, if I can get to 20 or 30 people, going forward, it's going to come down as well. I'd love to get a check to Praveen for all the work he's done. Where do we sign up? I'm going to put out an email in the top-down trader tonight. I will post the PowerPoint and the video. I think until I have Stripe set up, it'll have to be through PayPal or Zelle. The problem is the Zelle goes to my wife's account and she thinks it's her money, and I still have to give part of it to Praveen, but I can sort that out myself. I will put some links in the email to Top Down Trader tonight, and there's an update that'll be coming in the next couple of days. What I'm probably going to do is let the orders come in for the next 2 days, and then hopefully Praveen will have the next update ready, and we'll push that update. Now let me just, I'm going to send out attached to the top-down trader note tonight a video of how you install it. It's kind of like a Windows app. And what does that mean? It means that when I go to the Windows App Store and I type something in, everything is contained in that one app. What you're going to have is eventually it's going to be in the Windows App Store, and maybe it's ready for that. You're going to get one file. You're going to click on it. It's going to install the program. And then every time we do an update, it'll be you clicking on the program to start it, and then it'll look to see if there's an update, and we'll automatically update it. I'm trying to run a staging and play with the updates before we push them. The last update we pushed because the staging broke. What page or screenshot do I want from Wealth Charts? I know that, James, that you have them all. I don't really mind what you do with Wealth Charts is your business. I appreciate you following me, and I'm going to still have Wealth Charts because I like it. If you can, and the people I know on this list, I'm going to trust goes both ways. So don't, just tell me you have it. But if somebody I don't personally know, what I would like you to take a picture is just the CAT scanner, because this is Marketplace. Will there be a Market MRI Pro user group? Yeah, right now I'm going to keep the top-down trader group because, remember, I'm a top-down trader. All the other programs are just how I top-down, including Market MRI Pro. When Praveen and I are ready, we'll go to a Discord group. It's a lot easier, I think, to support a program with the Discord group. But I'm not ready yet because it's also a pain in the ass for the person that's the administrator. And the number of hacks that try and steal your group is growing. So this is all you would have to give me, a picture of this if you're a Wealth Charts app. Now, I said it in the beginning and I'll say it again. And I say it all the time, I joke on my videos. Which is my favorite program where my packages are in is like asking me which is my favorite grandchild. I think Wealth Charts is a great product and a great program. It may not be for everybody. Nothing is for everybody. But nothing else also comes with the education, the Wealth Charts TV, and the other pieces that you get in Wealth Charts. It's much more than a software platform. It's got seasonality. It's got so many good things. That's why I keep Wealth Charts, and I will continue to keep it. Why I keep TradeStation? Well, one, I trade with it. You can actually see I have a small account there that's open, because this trading app I think is the best scanner I've got of everything. And Praveen could be better, but he's got to figure out a way to get Sagar to come on board. his Sagar stuff is just dynamite. The way he works with the Excel spreadsheets. So, I mean, there's positives to every program I'm in. And so I'm not necessarily getting rid of anything. Everybody's going to do what's best for them. So I think we've gone our hour and a half. I think I've answered all your questions. Can I, as part, Bazzi, yes. But remember, don't remember, I just got to be very clear. This here is a combination of what I do with Sagar and what I have. You'd also have to have Sagar stuff to do this. This one here, and I'll just pick, and I'll show how fast it is. Let's just do the S&P 500. Oh, we got to find it somewhere. To the S&P 500, and let's calculate. And it'll start running. Of course, it's not fast today because I got so many things running, but this is how fast I'm able to run a scan of 500 charts with this app. Again, this isn't radar screen. This isn't scanner. It's the trading app. And yes, anybody, and there you go, and then I've got the same ability to scan. I just don't have all those fields because if you don't have Sagars, it won't work on the other fields. So if you have questions about the other packages, if you have any questions about that, send it to me and I'll forward it to Sagar. He's a wonderful person. And the funniest thing with me and Sagar, besides buying 15 years of his program, was convincing my bank to wire a check to an Indian name in Singapore because of all the fraud that goes on in this world. It took days to get permission, but eventually I got it done. All right, I think I answered all your questions. Feel free to ask them again in the top-down group. And look, if you buy it, great. If you don't buy it, you don't have to go anywhere. You stick around. I'm going to keep doing what I do. And hope to see some of you in Orange County. And, you know, I'd like to do a Florida meeting in December. It all depends on my day job because my day job has to deal with a American Society of Hematology meeting the first week of December and then a breast cancer meeting in San Antonio the second week. And it just depends on where the days fall. So, and thank you to Praveen for all the work he did to build this. It's just been a fantastic relationship, and we'll see you all soon. I'm going to cut it at this point. Thanks, everybody.